Every month is Angry August on Patreon. 4 to 5 extra videos every single month, plus bug me on Discord, Q&As, and you keep this channel independent by supporting the habit at patreon.com/dosabuckley. Ah, the Olympics. That beautiful time when everyone in the world comes together to pretend to be experts on topics they haven't given any thought to in the last 2 to 4 years. This year's Olympics had all sorts of controversy and comedy. So I wanted to break it down, and if you go back to my video from 2021, you'll find that the more things change, the more they stay the same. We have to start with Imane Khelif, the Algerian boxer fighting women, but she's actually a man, which became a huge story after she beat another boxer in about 40 seconds. Imane punched her Italian opponent in the face in a boxing match? Oh, crazy! And the Italian quit and cried and claimed that it was the hardest she'd ever been hit. Quick, go get that South Park JPEG. You're the first one to think of that reference. In one corner, you have the people defending her. She's not trans. That's just simply not possible in Algeria. It's highly illegal. The government would be cutting off more than just her dick if they found out. They certainly wouldn't be sending her to represent their country. The prevailing theory is that she was born with DSD, similar to many runners who have competed in the Olympics. That she's got all the lady parts, but generates more testosterone than the average woman. There are photos shared by her family of her as a child where she's a tall, gawky little girl. In the other corner, you have a photo of her wearing a groin protector, case closed, and a disgraced organization, the IBA, run by Russians and backed by a Russian energy provider, who claims they did a gender test that oh so conveniently took place after she beat a Russian fighter about a year ago that said she had XY chromosomes. When pressed about this, they went, well, she had high testosterone. And even more recently, when asked who did the test, they said it was a WADA, World Anti-Doping Agency, approved facility. WADA says, we don't do gender tests, we just do drug tests. Also, no word on why they didn't do these tests 6 years ago when she started boxing at an international level, or at the Olympics in 2021, where she lost, or at the 2022 World Championships, where she lost. If she's a dude, she must be a pretty weak one, having lost to 9 women that we know of, possibly more at a regional level. BoxRec doesn't have those stats. There may be a legit discussion here, but the problem with the anti-Imane crowd is that they have idiots like the Quartering on their side, who thinks every woman is a man if they don't look like the anime character on his body pillow. He called one of Imane's opponents a guy as well, a Thai fighter whose name I'm not even gonna attempt. She's a woman with no chest and short hair. Must be tough going through life looking at every woman and worrying, is that a man? But the Quartering should know that doesn't matter since no one wants to fuck him anyway. Another surprising detractor was Chris Cyborg, the woman who famously ended Gina Carano's career. No, her fighting career. And was heavily avoided by Ronda Rousey because a lot of people thought she was a man. Or someone who produced too much testosterone, or just a lady juice pig. But anyway, seems strange that she would come out and say shit like, we must protect the integrity of women's sports. Something people were saying when she was kicking the shit out of women that looked a lot more feminine than her. The far more interesting debate this opens up is, what genetic advantages should be allowed in sports and where do you draw the line? Simone Biles, being 4'8" and like 100 pounds, clearly helps her in gymnastics, the same way Shaq's height made him a better basketball player than he would have been if he was only 5'11". But a reminder that you don't care about women's sports. Libs of TikTok or the Quartering have never tweeted a single positive thing about a real female athlete's accomplishments. And you wouldn't have been able to name a single female competitor in Olympic boxing until this happened. You don't care. And that's okay. It's just sports. Anyway, Imane won the gold and followed up that by launching a lawsuit against Elon Musk and J.K. Rowling, claiming they cyberbullied her. So, maybe we'll find out what's in her pants after all. If she has to prove she was slandered, slander's only illegal if it's not true. Who knows? Maybe we end up finding out she's hung like a French pole vaulter. Yeah, how about this story? On his third attempt, Anthony Ammirati tried to clear 5.7 meters. He got over the bar, but his hog hit it on the way down and the attempt didn't count, knocking him out of the competition. You know who this really has to suck for? The winners. Sure, some Swedish guy broke the world record, but now everyone knows that his dick is too small to accidentally knock over a bar. But don't worry, an adult cam site has offered him $250,000 to do a 60-minute show. I don't know what they'd have him do for 60 minutes. It'd be really funny if he just stood there with his cock out while Chariot's a fire played on loop for an hour and then he collected his $250,000. But anyway, even though he didn't win a medal, I'm sure he got all the attention back at the Olympic Village that night. Maybe a few gymnasts asked if they could go for a spin on his uneven bar. Of course, it might be tricky, given that the anti-sex beds are back. Yes, in 2021, these cardboard beds went viral because people were concerned that the world's most athletic human beings might have a tough time figuring out how to fuck. In 2024, the recyclable beds came back, and all the news outlets recycled their stories. But a potentially legit concern came from it when an Aussie swimmer blamed the beds for her not being able to break a world record. Ariane Titmus won a gold medal and then basically told the media, "Yeah, I could have done better, but the Olympic Village is a bloody shithole, mate." Not a direct quote, but anyway, the IOC responded by saying, "Actually, the mattresses are really good, and we got more meat for the athletes this year." You sure did, except it's all being smuggled out by the pole vaulter. But anyway, that might be taking shit too seriously, even for a high-level athlete. Gold medal's not good enough? Why can't you be more like that Turkish shooter? This, to me, is what the Olympics should be all about. Hilarious meme shit. If you somehow managed to miss this, Yusuf Dikech took the internet by storm by winning a silver in the air pistol event with no specialized equipment. All these fuckers normally look like low-budget Johnny Fives. No disassemble! But Yusuf won with one hand in his pocket, pair of fucking earbuds in, and his reading glasses. Then the internet found out he had a cat, and the John Wick jokes wrote themselves at that point. But man, this is the fun shit we should be enjoying about the Olympics. Big-dicked pole vaulters and 50-year-old dudes who look like they don't give a fuck. Or that Italian gymnast who's sponsored by a cheese company. So she's got a whole bunch of pictures with Parmigiano Reggiano wheels. Do you think that she smells more like the cheese wheel, or that the cheese wheel smells more like, you know what, never mind. Or speaking of things that stunk, the Australian breakdancer that looked like your drunk aunt at a wedding who had fallen down and was writhing around on the ground pretending like that's what she meant to do. This shit ain't breakdancing, it's broken dancing. She asked for a beat, and it looks like she got beat up. Making this even funnier, she has a PhD in this, somehow. Physician, heal thyself. Nothing political here. Both sides can enjoy making fun of this. Or the fact that the US sent Snoop Dogg as their torchbearer, reminding people that 3 years ago, an American runner was not allowed to compete because she smoked weed, and in 2024, they got maybe the man who smoked the most weed of all time carrying a torch that looks like a fucking blunt. Or the fact that I was seeing Ozempic commercials during the games. Hey, do you want to look like these athletes without putting in any of the effort? Ask your doctor if Ozempic is right for you. What a fucking sponsor. Suppose it's to counter the fact that Coca-Cola is also a sponsor, so it's perfect. After you consume too much of one product, just switch to the other. But no, the internet couldn't help but focus more on the woke Olympics. And it started immediately with the opening ceremonies, which, by the way, included a fucking crazy performance by Gojira. That should have closed the show. But no, they had some sort of drag queen recreation of the Last Supper, which they tried to claim, no, it's Greek, like the Olympics. That's Dionysus. But I don't know. It does kind of look like the Last Supper, right? And so, Christians got all upset. The video was apparently taken down on the official Olympics YouTube channel, adding more fuel to the claims that they knew what they did. Oftentimes when Christians get mocked, they say things like, "We're always the punching bags because these pussies don't have the balls to make fun of Muslims." But boy, are you in the wrong country for that old pile of bullshit. First off, France told all of its athletes, if you wear a hijab, you can't represent us. They've banned wearing them in schools for years now, and recently banned students from wearing abayas, a robe worn by Muslims. And did everyone fucking forget Charlie Hebdo? The French humor magazine drew a depiction of Muhammad, big no-no for the Muslims, got their offices shot up in a terrorist attack that left 12 people dead, and a week later, published their next issue with another picture of Muhammad on it, as if to say, fuck you, you can't stop us. And you're surprised France would be a little sacrilegious? Meanwhile, you'd think Christians would be able to take a joke when they display their own savior tortured and minutes from death in their homes and churches. But I get why they were upset. The only people who actually watch the opening ceremonies are 80-year-old shut-ins. So, seeing some man dressed as Smurfette come out of a fucking serving dish in a scene that looks like the painting they have on their wall might make them freak out. Next thing you know, Grandma's calling you to ask if it's possible to get a contact high through the TV from a man named Snoopy Dogg. Anyway, the Olympics are over for another year, and just like with your grandma, you can go back to not caring about them until you hear some upsetting news.